Right now I'm going to play a little intro. It's called Every Beat Blues. Check it out. As you can see, every chord's moving a beat. There's the 4 chord. Have it a little diminished? Yeah. Walk the bass a little. Turn around. Or it can be used as an intro, and there you go. Artificial harmonics, compliments of Lenny Bro. Okay, what you just heard there was called the Every Beat Blues, and that's where a lot of blues playing winds up, where you're literally playing a chord on each beat. Through 12 bars of music. So that's sort of the end road of where the blues can wind up, but let me go back to some of the roots of the blues and take you through some of the sounds on the guitar historically. What I do in a lot of my workshops, particularly the blues workshops, is I start from Delta blues, and I work out of some of the books I've published, and we study the phrases of each style. I'm self-taught, as a lot of blues musicians are. However, at a certain point, I realized I wanted to go further with it, and what you do is you begin to study other styles beyond the blues. But the great thing about the blues is that every style that you morph into has blues elements in it. So we owe a huge debt to blues because it's the foundation of all other types of music. So you rarely hear a jazz or a country artist or a fusion artist not quote traditional blues licks in their playing. So it's every player's choice whether you want to remain a traditional blues player or you want to move on to different tributaries of the blues, which means studying different styles beyond Delta. So speaking of Delta blues guitar, I think most of us that play a lot of different styles, rock and funk, etc., all started with learning Delta blues licks, which are sort of the primary sound of not only the blues, but like I mentioned, a lot of styles. I think a lot of players we listened to that were the pure Delta artists, the 4 come to mind for me, Howlin' Wolf and Elmore James and John Lee Hooker and Muddy Waters, who all started out as players in the Delta region. And what they were especially noted for were they were Delta players where you play, as I'm going to demonstrate, alone, just guitar, and a lot of it was slide oriented and then some non-slide stuff. And eventually they all moved up to Chicago and Detroit into the northern cities, and that's where the whole Chicago blues era started when it expanded into bands. So here's some example, going back to the Delta players, of solo guitar. A lot of it was done in the key of E with the open strings. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple of the riffs. And what you want to do basically as a player in any style is you want to learn as many licks and riffs as you can and understand that they're being applied to a chord. So in other words, these are going to be all licks that work for the chord E or E7. So I'm going to start with the kind of these muddy water phrases that are real common with the bends, and here we go. So that was a common phrase, and sometimes whole songs would be based just on that riff. John Lee Hooker was another great artist that gave us this sort of sound. And a lot of this is known as call and response, where you'd have a phrase and then there'd be a response from either the bass, a bass lick, or a fill that you'd want to do. So check this out. So it's a great sound, a great style, and you can hear where a lot of the roots of rock music come from, and what eventually a lot of the Chicago blues players used as well. One of the important things about phrasing in blues and general feel to it, and it's really true in any style, is you want to make sure that you're playing dynamically. And when you go to hear a symphony, the reason there's a conductor there is for loud and soft. And that is the whole secret of great improvising, is to be able to play loud and soft. If you notice when I was playing those licks, I was loud, and then I get soft. So any of the great players in any style of improvisation really know how to control dynamics loud and soft. For example, here's a jazz phrase. So that's a little bebop jazz phrase. Whatever style I'm improvising in, I'm always going loud to soft. And it's really important to be able to do that. Just get loud, get soft. And when you hear really good improvisers in every style, from bluegrass to jazz to anything, they're always playing very dynamically, really undulating motion of loud and soft. So the Delta blues was all about that. When you hear really good players in that style, once again, you're hearing the loud. So there you have it.